CNT120, Chapter 2. We're in the last little segment down here after some of our procedures we talked about. And this is on change management. Think about it at home. If you make a change on your computer, do an update or whatever, or patch, you usually don't have much of a procedure that you go through. But if you start doing, like, I think back to the Service Pack days, you had Windows XP and you got Service Pack 2 and so forth. Some of those were some big changes to your computer. So a lot of you did a little procedure of like, okay, I'm going to make sure all my data is backed up. I'm going to make sure I have time to do this. I'm going to make sure if something happens on my computer, I'm not disrupted with my job or my school, whatever, and you might do it on like a Friday night so you have Saturday to work on it. Well, in a company, that is the kind of approach you need to do with a lot of changes. Because if you have, let's say you do a server upgrade, that could potentially cause everybody to not be able to log into the network. Well, okay, well, that's important. We better make sure we get that right. So as we deal with a larger company, a larger business, any kind of changes usually needs some kind of plan. It might be a small plan, but I might even need to do a weeks-long or months-long plan for something major. So types of changes you might do is a simple patch. This might be a small patch that happens with a software upgrade on like a Tuesday or something. And what you might do, if it's you individually, you might just plan to do it at a time where you have time to like let it reboot and that sort of thing. If for its company, you might actually have a test machine that you run it on, download it, install it, run it, and make sure it works okay, and then deploy it to all the computers in the company. You might actually plan for that to occur. That might be something that you do. An upgrade, service pack that we mentioned, this might require a little bit more testing and planning. You might take a test machine, do the service pack upgrade, try it for a day or two. Try all the kinds of different softwares that people are using in the company. Your offices and your browsers and your emails and the database program or the printing program or the drawing program, all these types of things that you might run. You check all of those and then plan for a service pack to occur. And you might actually plan it to happen in certain times of day or certain days of the week, or this floor gets done this day, this floor gets done this day, this floor gets done this day. And that way you can slowly phase it in and you have less to repair if something goes wrong. Rollback would be just that. What's your plan if it doesn't go well? What are you going to do to kind of roll that back? Some people have had that happen where you update a driver and things don't work, so you roll back to the older driver, on sound cards and video cards and those sorts of things. So what's the process you're going to use to do that? So again, that might be something you test out on the side, make sure it works before you deploy it company-wide. So here are some of the steps they walk you through, general steps that you walk through for software or hardware changes. Again, most company machines, you don't do the updates or patches automatically. You test them and then you tell all the devices when they can do it. You literally signal when they can do that or schedule them to do that. Determine if it's necessary. Sometimes it's not necessary. Sometimes it's targeted at a program or a utility you don't use. So it's like, well, okay, we're not going to do that one. You would research and find out if it's necessary or compatibility. You might test this on a machine on the side. Determine if everybody or just certain things need to be updated, and then schedule that. And you might even say there's a scheduled maintenance window. On Friday, we would like you to do this when you leave work, leave it logged in or whatever. Or on Saturday from 2 a.m. to 5 a.m., we're going to be doing this update. You won't have access to blah thing, blah server, blah resources, and let people know that. Notify people, as we just said there, back up your current systems, and then prevent people from logging in or accessing it, and then do that. Keep instructions handy, implement it, test it, re-enable systems, and then basically bring things back online. And then inform people the changes there, and do A, B, and C. If you have this particular issue, if you have these issues, make sure you contact blah number or blah person. And then record any of this. Maintain documentation, all this. If you need to reverse the software, again, you might need to have a plan for this, or test this out ahead of time. And sometimes they call for back leveling, actually rolling back to a previous version of something. And again, that could be because something becomes not functioning. Something does not function after the update. And last but not least, documentation. You have to document the process you used, the success of, so you have that for future notes. And any changes that are done. Again, at your home, you probably don't worry about that, but in a company, you need to make sure. Because again, if I get reassigned to another role, my knowledge of that is no longer there. Somebody else takes my place. They would need documentation to know what got done or what did work or what did not work. So documentation. That concludes Chapter 2.